History often hides the pain of those who were born different, their struggles rarely seen or understood. In this video, we expose the heartbreaking deformities of the past, shedding light on the lives that were forever changed by society's cruelty. Frank Lentini was born with 3 legs and became a popular figure in the United States. Known as the King, one of his notable acts included using his 3rd leg to kick a soccer ball during his performances. A man was born with a hand where each of his 3 fingers was the size of his entire hand. The girl in the photo suffered from a condition known as a goiter, where an overgrowth of the thyroid gland caused her neck to swell dramatically. Children born with abnormal sizes became a grotesque fascination, often displayed as curiosities for public entertainment. The photograph shows deceased conjoined twins preserved at just 3 months old. Some photos are haunting beyond words. This is a stillborn child with rare anomalies. These images offer a painful glimpse into the harsh reality of birth defects, forever immortalizing lives that never had the chance to grow. The boy in the photo was affected by partial gigantism, a condition that caused his body to grow at an abnormal rate. A man born with deformed hands in the early 90s became a subject of curiosity and exploitation. His condition, rather than being treated with compassion, was showcased as a freakish anomaly for public attention. A man suffering from elephantiasis endured an extreme and visible enlargement of his limbs, making his condition both shocking and heartbreaking. His condition, marked by painful and visible deformity, explained the harsh realities of medical limitations. Fedor Jevtichev, with a rare condition that made hair grow all over his body, was forced to perform as the dog boy in P.T. Barnum's circus, barking and growling for crowds. Fedor spent his life in humiliation, dying of pneumonia in Greece. The Tochi brothers, born as Siamese twins, were featured in a famous photo from the past. Joined at the waist, they became known for their unique condition and lived a life that drew both fascination and pity. By the late 19th century, living skeletons were a common circus attraction, and Isaac Sprague was the most famous of them all. Born as a healthy child, his mysterious condition caused extreme weight loss from the age of 12. The albino Lucasi family gained fame as artists in the 19th century, captivating audiences with their unique appearance and talent. Their rare condition set them apart, making them well-known figures in the art world of their time. The man known as the Chinese dwarf stood only 71 centimeters tall and weighed just 18 kilograms, his tiny frame a lifelong burden. In a world that gawked at his size rather than seeing his humanity, he spent his life as a spectacle. Anna Swan was a brilliant woman with academic ambitions, but the world only saw her towering height. Instead of recognition for her intellect, she found fortune by being displayed as a giant. The girl in the photo, taken in the 1870s, clearly had a Pert syndrome, a condition that wouldn't even be identified until 1906. In a time with little medical understanding, she likely faced a life of isolation and misunderstanding. Hannah Perkins gained fame as a fat lady in Barnum's circus, standing over 6 feet tall and weighing 714 pounds. Despite finding love with a circus thin man, her story ended in tragedy when she fell from the stage and caught an infection. Rudolph Lucasi, Barnum's most famous albino performer, captivated audiences alongside his wife and daughter, billed as white Africans from supposedly black families. Though their later lives remain a mystery, they spent years as curiosities in Barnum's circus, their pale skin and wild hair turning them into living spectacles. A rare biological phenomenon where this man was born with a parasitic twin, a condition where one embryo absorbs the other in the womb. Shockingly, the undeveloped twin can remain inside the host's body for years, sometimes even into adulthood. At 5 years old, Dudley Foster weighed just 2 kilograms, a weight closer to that of a newborn than a child his age. His frail body remained a medical mystery, leaving doctors baffled and spectators in awe. The boy likely suffered from Burkitt's lymphoma, a fast-growing cancer that can cause severe facial swelling. In an era with limited medical treatment, his chances of survival would have been tragically slim, as doctors were unable to provide the necessary care to combat the aggressive disease. Prince Radian, born without arms or legs, rose to fame through Barnum's shows and later made his way to Hollywood. Despite his condition, he defied expectations, proving that even the most unlikely performers could captivate audiences on the big screen. A young man suffers from hyperthyroidism, a condition that can cause extreme weight loss, bulging eyes, and a racing heart. In an era without proper treatment, his body would have struggled under the relentless effects of the disease. Josephine Myrtle Corbin was born with 2 pelvises and 4 legs, a rare condition likely caused by an absorbed twin. She joined the circus, earning fame as the 4-legged woman, and even allowing doctors to examine her in public performances. Despite her condition, she married, had children, and eventually left the show. A boy was born with a severe disability, having no hands and no sexual organs. His condition is extremely rare and likely the result of a genetic anomaly. With no other way to survive, he was taken in by a traveling freak show. There, he became a spectacle for curious crowds, his life defined by stares and whispers. Eli Bowen, the legless miracle from Ohio, sits proudly with his wife and their clearly unimpressed child in 1875. Born without legs but full of determination, he made a name for himself in the circus world. Even success, however, couldn't guarantee a happy family portrait. Josephine Boisticeni, born in Switzerland, had a rare condition that caused her to grow an unnaturally thick beard by the time she was just 8 years old. As she got older, she toured Europe and made her way to America, where P.T. Barnum introduced her to his audiences as the Bearded Lady of Geneva. A girl born without legs became part of the traveling sideshows, where her condition drew crowds eager to witness her unusual appearance. Despite the challenges, she displayed remarkable strength, often performing incredible feats to amaze audiences. Her story remains one of many that exemplify the exploitation. A young child with dwarfism was presented in traveling circuses, where their condition became a source of public curiosity. The child's small stature was both a spectacle and a source of fascination, with audiences eager to witness what they deemed an extraordinary rarity. Edward Mordrake, born with a second face at the back of his head, is one of the most unsettling figures in medical history. The extra face, though incapable of sight or speech, was said to whisper cruel and disturbing things to him, driving him to madness. Despite his intelligence, the torment of living with this condition led to his tragic death. John Duggs, also known as Nicodemus, was born with truncated legs and one truncated arm. Despite his unique condition, he was known for his handsome appearance and became a circus performer. His life was shrouded in mystery, with reports mistakenly claiming he died in a circus train accident. Schlitzie, often referred to as the Pinhead, was a famous performer in P.T. Barnum's circus. Schlitzie had microcephaly, a condition that resulted in an abnormally small head and cognitive impairments. Despite these challenges, Schlitzie became a beloved and unique figure in sideshows. Prince Randian, known as the human snake, was born with tetra amelia syndrome, meaning he had no limbs. According to legend, P.T. Barnum brought him to America along with his wife, Princess Sarah. He gained fame for his incredible ability to roll cigarettes with his lips and shave using a specially designed block. Samuel Parks, known as the Frog Boy, was born on October 20th, 1874, in Boston, with osteogenesis imperfecta, a disorder that made his bones extremely brittle. By the age of 16, he had suffered 58 fractures, leaving him with a contorted, dwarfed body and twisted legs that gave him his nickname. Mademoiselle Gabrielle, born in Switzerland in 1884 without legs, became one of the most celebrated figures of this era. She began performing at 16 eventually joining major American circuses like Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey, where her beauty and elegance set her apart. Annie Jones, famously known as the Bearded Woman, gained national recognition while touring with P.T. Barnum. She became the most well-known bearded lady of her time, and even served as a spokesperson for Barnum's Congress of Freaks. Despite her unusual appearance, she was admired for her grace and professionalism throughout her career. Fannie Mills, famously known as the Ohio Bigfoot Girl, suffered from Milroy disease, a rare condition that causes extreme swelling in her legs and feet. Despite her condition, she became a popular sideshow attraction. Audiences were fascinated by her enormous feet, which reportedly reached 17 inches in length. Felix Werle, famously known as the Elastic Man, had Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a condition that gave his skin an extraordinary ability to stretch. His act fascinated audiences as he pulled and contorted his skin in ways that seemed impossible. He became a well-known sideshow performer, showcasing his rare ability in exhibitions across the country. Better known as the Elephant Man, Joseph Merrick lived a life marked by hardship and rejection. Born with severe deformities, he was shunned by society and abandoned by his parents. With no other means of survival, he joined a touring freak show where he was displayed for public amusement. Despite his suffering, Merrick longed for dignity and acceptance, eventually finding solace in the care of Dr. Frederick Trevis. Grady Stiles Jr., known as Lobster Boy, came from a family with a genetic condition called ectrodactyly, which gave his hands and feet a claw-like appearance. He gained fame in sideshows, but struggled with alcoholism and a violent temper. He eventually murdered his daughter's fiancée in cold blood. Despite his condition making him difficult to restrain, his own family later conspired to have him killed. This guy, born in Sicily, was famous for having a parasitic twin attached to his body, which resulted in him having a fully functional third leg. His family immigrated to the United States when he was young, and he embraced his unique condition by joining the Ringling Brothers circus. He became a popular performer, showcasing his extraordinary ability to use all three of his legs in his act. Martin Lorello, dubbed the Human Owl, was known for his extraordinary ability to turn his neck a full 180 degrees, mimicking the unique movement of an owl. He performed in Sam Wagner's Freak Show on Coney Island, where he captivated audiences with his rare and eerie talent. Lorello's act became a popular attraction, and he gained notoriety for his seemingly impossible flexibility. Ella Harper, known as the Camel Girl, was born with a rare orthopedic condition that caused her knees to bend backward, giving her a unique camel-like gait. This physical anomaly made her a standout performer in the freak show circuit. Audiences were captivated by her ability to walk on all fours, a skill she perfected to highlight her condition. Johnny Eck, born without the lower half of his torso, became a well-known performer and appeared in the iconic film Freaks. Despite his physical condition, he lived an active life, showcasing his incredible ability to perform various feats that amazed audiences. He also starred alongside Angelo Rossito and made appearances as a bird creature in several Tarzan movies. Minnie Woolsey, known by her stage name Coo Coo the Bird Girl, was born with Seckel syndrome, a rare genetic condition that resulted in both physical and mental disabilities. She had distinctive features, including a lack of teeth and hair, which made her a prominent figure in the sideshow world. For many years, she worked at a Coney Island sideshow, where her appearance and unique condition drew crowds. Pascual Pinon, known as the Two-Headed Mexican, was a sideshow performer who toured the United States. Born with a large tumor growing from his head, he made the most of his condition by decorating it with a wax face to resemble a second head. Pinon became a well-known figure in the freak show circuit, captivating audiences with his unusual appearance. Alice Doherty, born with the rare condition hypertrichosis, also known as werewolf syndrome, became a prominent figure in the freak show circuit. Her mother, seeing the potential for profit, put Alice in a traveling sideshow when she was just 2 years old, where she performed under the stage name Woolly Girl. Alice's excessive hair growth, which covered her face and body, captivated audiences who flocked to see her condition. Arthur Lewes, known as the Rubber-Skinned Man, was a sideshow performer famous for his extraordinary ability to stretch and contort his skin. Lewes was afflicted with a rare condition that gave his skin an unusual elasticity, allowing him to perform feats that seemed almost impossible to the audience. His unique talent made him a popular attraction in circuses and freak shows across America. Lazarus and Joannes, two conjoined twins from Italy, became famous for their unique and rare condition. Lazarus, the more active of the two, would go about their daily routines, while his brother, Joannes Baptista, remained mostly motionless, with his left leg protruding from Lazarus's body. Joannes never spoke, and he kept his eyes closed with his mouth always open, making him appear almost lifeless during their performances. The Salon Sisters were a fascinating and unusual act, often billed as the two-headed woman. The sisters were conjoined twins, each with their own head but sharing a single body, a rarity that captivated audiences and led to their inclusion in circus and sideshow performances. Their appearance not only sparked curiosity, but also challenged the limits of human biology and perception. Miss Rosina toured Europe with her incredible talent, despite having no arms. She became famous for her ability to crochet using only her feet, a skill that amazed audiences and added a unique twist to her performances. At the end of each show, she would humbly conclude with the words, "In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I may say that as this is my means of getting a living, you will kindly recommend your friends to see my show." Her determination and skill turned what might have been seen as a disadvantage into a remarkable display of resilience and talent, earning her admiration and success in the circus world. Charles Sherwood Stratton, better known as General Tom Thumb, was one of P.T. Barnum's most famous attractions. Barnum discovered him at just 5 years old and trained him for performances, turning him into an international sensation. Stratton even performed for Queen Victoria and Napoleon III. Despite his small stature, he led a fascinating life of travel, wealth, and celebrity. Ethel Granger is one of the most extreme examples of body modification influenced by a spouse. Her waist, reduced just 13 inches, remains one of the smallest recorded. William Granger's obsession with extreme corsetry and piercings drove her transformation, and she embraced it fully, eventually becoming a symbol of fetish fashion. A banker in Manchuria, China, discovered Wong, a man with a 13-inch horn growing from the back of his head. The banker took a photograph, which became widely known for its unusual subject. He was later brought up as a sideshow attraction in various freak shows. La Lu, a sideshow performer born with a parasitic twin attached to his chest. The twin had no brain or independent function, but did possess a fully formed lower body, including legs and a penis, which could urinate. Despite its male anatomy, the twin was often dressed in girls' clothing to enhance the spectacle of La Lu's act. He became a well-known attraction, performing with Barnum and Bailey and Norris and Rose circuses. Bill Dirks was born with frontonasal dysplasia, a rare condition that caused deep facial clefts, making it appear as though he had two faces on one head. Despite his unusual appearance, he was born to completely normal parents. Around the age of 40, he joined the sideshow, becoming a star attraction under names like the Man with Three Eyes and the Man with Two Faces. Grace McDaniels, known as the Mule-Faced Woman, was born in 1888 with Sturge-Weber syndrome, a rare neurological disorder that can cause facial deformities, port wine birthmarks, and vascular abnormalities. Despite her condition, she lived a relatively private life until she joined the sideshow circuit in the 1930s, where she became a well-known attraction. Eric Sprague, known as the Lizard Man, is a modern sideshow performer famous for his extreme body modifications. He has undergone full body green tattooing, sharpened his teeth, split his tongue, and even had subdermal implants to create a more reptilian appearance. A former philosophy student, Sprague turned his fascination with body modification into a full-time career, performing in sideshows and television appearances. This child was born with a parasitic twin, resulting in an extra, fully formed hand growing from the joint of his thighs. The additional limb was non-functional, but was a medical curiosity that fascinated audiences. Displayed as a living wonder in traveling carnivals and freak shows, he was often introduced with sensational titles emphasizing his unusual anatomy. Mary Ann Bevan was an English woman who developed acromegaly, a disorder that causes abnormal growth of bones, particularly in the face and hands. Once a nurse, she turned to sideshow performance to support her children after becoming widowed. She was exhibited as the ugliest woman in the world in circuses and fairs, including working with Barnum and Bailey Circus.